Two Gold Coasters are on their way to having the #1 mental health podcast in Australia. The pair helping each other through some dark times before coming out the other side to launch Shared Minds.
Welcome back to the Shared Minds podcast. Very, very special one for both of us today, as when you're listening to this, it will be the 1 year anniversary of the Shared Minds podcast.
Woo!
So
Everyone.
we want to do a recap episode, basically just a rerun of our year, all the highs, the many lows, the things that we've learned, just
More
the crazy.
lows.
Yeah, that's why I said many lows. And just basically everything in general, just wrapping up the year that we've had, because I cannot believe it's been a year.
Well, today we were sitting there looking at your photo gallery, whatever you want to call it, and we were like, was that a fucking year ago?
Yeah, so this time last year, which is the 20th of August, was when I was testing equipment. Because remember, we had the old microphone, and then I bought that like $30 one from JB Hi-Fi.
Yeah. You've still got that. I don't think you ever returned it.
No, I didn't. Because, like, again, we wouldn't have known any better. At the start, when we first started, we had the plug-in one, and then we had a really proper one, and we were both recording them at the same time, and they were overlapping each other.
Yeah, and we didn't notice that until after. So we had to record a brand new episode, and then you went out and spent all the money on the equipment.
I did. I certainly did do
I
that.
can't believe that was a year ago.
I
It's been a
know.
year to remember as well
I
because
know.
you bought a house, you moved into your parents' house. I went through a fucking breakup. We quit our full-time
You
jobs to
moved
do
into
this
your
podcast.
parents' house.
Moved into mum's house.
Yeah.
And then now we're fucking here. It was crazy to reflect, like,
We quit jobs.
around a week ago to this year, this was a thought. This entire podcast, entire thing was just a thought. We were like, yeah, like we'll get it done. And then we started it. And since then, we've been doing it for a year.
I know.
26,500 followers,
On Instagram.
15.5 on TikTok, 1 million likes on TikTok as of today. We're at we're at 8 million views for the month a couple of days ago on Instagram.
Closed our first official proper brand deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, it's all those lessons that we've learned that it's as you said, I don't regret any of it. I wouldn't change any of it, the way that we done it or did it, but there is things that you would do slightly differently. But I mean, that's everything. You always learn things, like ways you do things differently.
Oh, there's nothing I'd take back because honestly, like I always think of the ripple effect. And if we stayed in our jobs for another week, would I have come across doing a talking head video in the car that got 500,000 views, which
Yeah.
made us do more content like that, which like grew the profile? Would I have ever done
Could
that?
it have never happened?
Yeah, I wouldn't take back a single thing. But yeah, for
No.
anyone, because it probably looks really fun on our Instagram because a lot of the time, you know, we're fucking around.
You have to show the best parts on Instagram. If you
Yeah.
showed the mundane day-to-day life, it looks terrible.
yeah, and like
If you filmed yourself just sitting at work, it
Depressed.
wouldn't be fun either.
No, and it's
Like-
like, yeah, and it's, yeah, there's a lot of days. There's a lot of days where Kirby and I have sat there and gone, what the fuck are we doing? Like, when we started, you editing a podcast would take you 5 hours. Now you do
Yeah.
it in under 5 minutes because
Yeah.
you've got all the right equipment
I
and
know
you know how to
what
do it.
I
Yeah.
know what I'm looking for. And like, whereas skills that we've developed is you can listen to anything, you can watch anything and hear anything and turn it into a reel in your head. I edit on the fly. So as I'm going and as we're speaking to guests and as we're doing things, I'm sitting here and in my head I make a little mental note of the big thing that was said around the time frame. So when I need to edit something out, I can fly straight to it. So
Yeah, I can make it.
it's
I
yeah.
can make a fucking 30-second reel in, like, I can watch the video and create it in under 2 or 3 minutes where that
Yeah.
used to take me an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Like now I can cut words out of a whole paragraph of words and combine them where it looks like it's just a flow. Like, but that would have taken me hours.
Yeah.
I was going to mention something else too.
Well, I was going to say, let's jump back to this time last year.
This time last year.
Imagine when I'm in my studio and in my basement and we're recording off these two different microphones. And because I remember we recorded the first episode it was really good content, but the audio wasn't matching up and it was like echoing on itself. But I remember we both said, there's something in this. And we went, okay, let's do this properly. Imagine looking forward from then and saying that within a year we would have had Osher on the show. What would you have?
I don't know.
Would you have believed it? Been like, no.
Probably with the
way.
state of delusion we're living in at the
Yeah.
time. Like at that time, honestly, when we quit our jobs in January, I genuinely thought we would have made like a couple $100,000 on it. Not a couple $100,000, but like 50 grand. Like I would have thought you and I would have profitized and monetized this very fast.
Yeah, we were just delusional.
And at that January period, if you told me, I would have gone, yeah, we probably had fucking Luke Combs on as well.
Nah, I never thought. I
But the
always
delusion
thought
that we had, I thought we'd be just fucking traveling around the country interviewing people.
I thought it was going to take us months to get Osher on. No, not
Years,
months.
you
Sorry,
mean?
years. Yeah.
I didn't really. I thought maybe, maybe an extra year on top of what we did. That was also something that was really difficult too, because once we did Osher, he was like our main. And for the people listening, you might even go, "Who the fuck's Osher?" He
Yeah.
was just significant to us. But yeah, I thought that was going to take way longer, and like it was actually difficult to kind of sit with because it was like that was our main goal. And
Yeah.
for people that don't do podcasts or haven't really thought about it, like having one big guest does nothing. It might spike it a little bit, but it doesn't really do anything.
But the other thing as well is that was our main goal where we were like, Osher was our goal and we were working
always
for
something to
it.
work towards in the
Yeah.
background.
So we had that to work towards. No matter what we were doing, we had all these other guests, we had other things going on, but it was always a little background motive working towards Osher. Then when we got him, we had nothing else after that. And it was really, really tough bouncing back from that.
And nothing else was really that exciting because he was just like, again, like he's not a fucking global celebrity, but he was just one of the reasons that we started this podcast. So it was just like,
in our mind, he was the be all end all. And in my mind, I thought it was going to take 2 years to get to him. So in my mind, it was going to take 2 years. It was going to take a lot more time, a lot more effort, a lot more interviews. And it was a long-term goal. Then when it happened within 6 months, it was like, wow, we're doing really well. But then at the same time, I really struggled to bounce back afterwards because I was like, what is actually next?
it was just like, it was hard after Osher.
Because it was like more the whole thing of reaching a goal that you thought was so far away. Then when it happened, we didn't have and I know they say never have a backup plan, but it's like they always say, aim for the moon. If you fall short, you hit the stars. It's like we went past the moon and we're like, there's nothing here but empty space.
Yeah.
Like,
And that was enough. And with podcasting, it's so random. And what we found was difficult because, like, with like a business or something where you have to sell, you go, let's just scale it and get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yes.
And let's just go berserko, like the Naturally Cook boys that do the sunscreen.
Yeah.
They go,
a down week, let's call some more people.
let's fucking jump in a car and go up to Cairns like they did and, and just go hit some doors. But for
Yep.
us, it's like, how the fuck do we grow this thing?
But not even that. It's like Instagram have restrictions and email have restrictions.
Yeah.
So we can only reach out to X amount of people per day, per week. So we can't even be like,
Well, even some of the bigger people don't receive messages.
yeah. So we can't even like even if there was like a list of 100 people who we want on, if we message all 100 in one day, you come to tomorrow and you go, I'm not going to message them all again. I don't want to be annoying.
And then also you send too many messages, your fucking phone, you get
Get
barred
blocked
for
or
24
restricted.
hours.
Yeah. So it's like there's a lot of challenges that we didn't initially come to realize.
And what took us a long time to realize too was Instagram and TikTok are your billboard where Spotify is your
Yes.
product. That took us a
Yes.
fucking long time.
Which it makes perfect sense now because you look, anyone who owns a store or a company or like a cafe, the cafe is the business and the Instagram and the TikTok is the billboard. They post
100%.
things on there to get people to the cafe.
And just the sheer amount of numbers was mind-boggling. The conversion rate from one app to another, even getting people to go from like our Instagram to like Spotify or to YouTube or to anything from that app was something I wasn't even aware of either.
But again, it's one of those general.
Because for people, like, how often are you scrolling Instagram Reels and you go, fuck, I'm going to throw an hour and a half podcast on?
Nah. well, like, or you're scrolling through Instagram while you're watching a movie. It's like you're not going to go, oh, pause the movie and pull the podcast up.
Nah.
Even when you're watching a movie, if another clip for another movie comes on, you don't turn that movie off and go put that other movie on. It's just general rule of thumb sales that we learned from doing our long time in real estate. It takes 7 touch points for someone to remember you.
At a minimum.
So it takes 7 connections for someone to remember the show. So again, you've just got to post more content, put out there more of what you're doing, and eventually they'll be in a right mood to do it.
And
Right time and place.
It's pretty cool, like, with the Instagram and what's happened and stuff too, because it's like, it just never evolved into what I thought, to be completely honest. And it was quite, Kirby and I had like I don't know, once the videos started kicking off and stuff, like it kind of made me like figure, like what made me kind of think, all right, there's a bit more possible here than just doing the podcast. And like, there's actually room here for like a bit of growth with the Instagram, because when we started hitting some big, like there's like 3 videos on Instagram with over 1 million views. One of them's got 2 million views. I was like, there's a whole new world out there that we can gravitate towards and look towards. And like, love the podcast and we do that, but it made me go like, what other opportunities are out there?
Well, one thing that like we said as well is, and we realized that if someone, like, yes, we are a mental health podcast, but if someone's not interested, well, okay, I'll reframe it, because there's 2 key points that we've said here that like always work together, is that we've always said no matter how happy or successful a person is, at one point or another, they will have mental health.
Yeah.
They will have, their wife may leave, their partner may die,
Family
their
member,
family
whatever.
members may die or pass away. They may lose a job. There is a day where that person will be in crisis. We've said that from the start. But then also, if you're not interested in mental health and mindset, it can be very difficult to go and listen to mental health and mindset podcasts. So one thing that we learned is if we just be our fun, genuine, authentic selves via the social media, that's our billboard. People will know that we do the mental health podcast. And then when that day comes that they need help, we will be there.
Yeah, that was something that was difficult. And we kind of had to sit back and think about it too. And that's why we did the other podcast as well.
Yeah.
Because like, if you're on the other side of mental health, like I am,
If you've been through a really traumatic thing and you're at the other side.
you don't really necessarily want to go watch mental health podcasts, because they might be saying something that's triggering.
Yeah,
Like,
it might
especially-
upset you. Yeah.
I don't like watching OCD podcasts now, because I'm like, what if I pick up a new
Yeah.
obsession, or what if it just makes me go back to that place again? And I don't like to sometimes.
What if they say, oh, I had this, and you go, oh, I could have that.
Yeah.
And then you're, yeah.
That happened a lot when I did research on OCD, and I picked up a lot of obsessions as well. So that was something we realized as well. We were like, mental health can be so personal to someone, but when you're on the other side of it, or you haven't been through it yet, why are you going to sit down and why are you going to listen to it?
Yeah.
And we also found that we love to have fun and joke around and laugh, because this podcast is a lot more serious. And
Yeah.
as we've said before, when somebody's telling you a story about like their darkest day and they're crying, like, really hard to recover from that and have a laugh. And like, you don't want to be insensitive, and especially if you don't know them as well. Like, a lot of these people we meet for the first time when they walk through the studio door.
Yes.
So you don't get their personality. Some people have dark humor, and I could make a joke and then they'll laugh about it. Other people might cry more. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's really hard to have fun with it sometimes, because it can be so heavy sometimes.
Well, do you remember there was one week where we were flying and we did 4 or 5 interviews in one week, but then we had 3 interviews in a row where they were talking about like suicide attempts.
Yeah.
And I, again, at the time we didn't know, but I felt horrible for a week afterwards, and I couldn't pin my finger on it. You couldn't pin your finger on it. You felt really bad too, and low lack and lust energy. And like, I'm appreciative of these people coming on and sharing their stories, but we hadn't developed outlets yet or ways to disconnect from their stories, because we were sitting with them and we were getting emotional with them, and we were, because we're both empathetic people, we were buying into their stories and we were reliving that pain with them. We did that back to back to back.
Then we'd talk to them after the show for an hour or two. And
Yeah, and it just took a mental
then
toll
you
on us.
edit the videos and you rewatch it over and over and over again. And then you're like in it with them.
But again, that's another lesson we learnt, that we have our grounds now, or like our grounding techniques now. we've got things that if we have a heavy episode, we know how to disconnect ourselves from it and stuff. But I remember we were really bad that one week because we just lived in it. And it was like, oh.
It can be very heavy. It can be very heavy. And I love talking about it. I love doing it. I love knowing that, you know, whoever we talk to, we share that story and we don't know who it's helping.
Yes.
It's helping somebody listening to it. Somebody's clicked on it to listen to it for a reason and it's going to help them. But yeah, we found, and that was like, we just love to laugh and also have fun as well. And, you know, on these solo episodes, we felt like we had to be a little bit more serious and, you know, talk about some, you know, heavy stuff. And I might start talking about a fucking breakup or one of my darkest days in OCD. It's just, you're not in the mood to laugh after it.
Yeah.
So we just got the other podcast Over and Under, and that's just been a nice outlet for us to have some fun and
Bit of fun, bit of
like
steam off.
talk to the to the followers as well and the people that listen. Like it's a good way to kind of go back and forth with them. So it's been quite interesting to evolve because another thing too was like we were really worried for a little while there. We were like, are we not evolving, but we were like, are we veering off into different things? But what a few people said to us was like, you just evolve with the times. And we just evolved. Like you've got your other podcast with Hank now.
Yeah.
That 30 Minutes to Mastery. Now we've got Over and Under. I love producing content.
You love, doing your talking
I love doing those
heads
videos.
and, Yeah.
I love doing Over and Under in these ones and then clipping up reels and posting them on social media. And
Yeah.
it's probably a bit of an addiction.
We've got a lot of avenues.
Yeah, a lot of avenues.
Well, as we
now.
evolve and grow, it's like, it's all boats rise with the tide. So just everything that we do ties back into that one message of why we started. It's not like we're going out there making a gambling like podcast, going bet on this one on the weekend.
Going contradicting what we're saying.
Yeah. It's all very, very relevant themes. And like we built Over Under around an audience that we built because as I said, we like went, let's build the audience so when they need us, we're there. And Over Under very much tailors to that audience from social media.
And
So-
something that was really interesting to me is I thought the shared minds was the only way to help people. I thought it was the only way. But then these videos, like 5 to 10 messages a week of just random people going, your content has helped me out of such a shit day. Or I was in such a shit
We're
mood.
not sitting with someone for an hour and a half and interviewing.
No.
We're just...
Because there was a little time there where I think these videos started in March, April, and I veered towards the dating ones because I was going through a fucking shitty time dating and they were just doing really well. So I kept doing them. And I remember sitting there and I was like, I'm doing dating videos from a mental health podcast. And I was like, these don't even line up. But then sort of started tailoring them to more relatable stuff and just funny stuff. And they started performing better.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, there's actually another way to help them. I can help people on a 17-second video the same as I can help them on an hour and a half podcast interviewing somebody.
Yeah.
So that was really cool as well because for a little while there I felt a little unaligned and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? But it was growing us so much. Like one day we had 900 followers in one day and the next day was 800 and I was like, we can't stop doing it. And then when the messages started flooding in, I was like, this is helping people as much as the other thing.
Yes. And it genuinely was because one of your outlets for when you were having your bad OCD was just comedy.
Theo Von. Theo Von, he wasn't talking about mental health.
He was just sitting there just talking and laughing.
Matty Johns, I used to watch him and he'd talk about stories from him being a young teenager just doing dumb shit that made me feel like, all right, well, what I've been doing, what I've done is normal.
Yeah.
And that used to help me as well. Like it doesn't, and some, the girl I'm dating, I always say now, but I'll say my girlfriend, that sounds better. Well, my girlfriend, there you go. My girlfriend.
We're putting titles on it now.
Titles, yeah. I did a soft launch the other day. Somewhat of a hard launch. Her face was in
It's
it
a
and stuff.
hard
It wasn't
launch.
like a
She
photo of
was-
her knee.
You
Anyway,
also tagged her in it.
yeah, I did too. Where was I going with that? She said to me one day, she was like, yeah, but your story could be Osher for somebody else. And like, I don't have to be sitting there talking about mental health every single day. Like what I used to love about watching Osher and Luke was seeing Luke be able to perform in front of 80,000 seat stadiums and Osher go and do TV shows. He had been through it and it was like clarity for me to go, they've been through it, come out the other side and made a successful life.
Because you've watched him on a podcast and go, but he went from all this and he's doing this?
Yeah, and his one podcast helped me more than anything ever. And I'm like, well, we can do it in different avenues and different ways. And that was a really exciting way too as well, like
Yes.
to feel like we're helping people.
On that note you said before, This time last year, you were living in a high rise,
Yeah.
in a 1-bedroom apartment in a high rise. You had just come back from America.
Yeah.
You were working as a real estate agent.
Yep.
You were engaged to someone that you'd been with for 10 years. You still had hints of OCD fluttering around. Now, look at us. Look at you.
It's crazy.
You living in a different place. That relationship ended. No longer in real estate. Like just it's been and even me. Like we can do the same thing with me. All the things that have changed and happened in my life this year, the last 12 months. It's just like this has been the biggest year of change I think ever.
And what I learned, ever in my life, what
Yeah.
I learned too is like if you pray for something or you want to manifest something or you want to achieve something, and it's nothing like the current life that you were living, you're going to have to lose things, you're going to have to lose people, and you're going to have to do things that are going to make you so uncomfortable
Yeah.
and it's going to be so unbearable. But in order to make that change and live that dream life that you want to live, you've got to go through that. Like, I look back now, and we've said this before, and Steve Harvey said it on a video, and it was like, if you knew the path that was coming up for you, and
That's
you
what we
knew
said at the
God's plan,
start, yeah.
but if you knew God's plan, you would be like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
But just being able to go through it and live through it, you can get through it.
Absolutely.
And you don't really realize what's in your life and what you're going through that you don't necessarily need. And there's people and things and situations and jobs that you're doing that you can live without.
Well, it's even those things that are like when you reflect back, you don't realize how fast things move. It's as I said, like I've said to you, I've stopped doing things day by day. I do things by week now. So I say we've had a productive week, not a productive day, because if you look at the things you've done daily, you can get caught in your own head of not doing
yeah.
much. But we've had a productive week. But anyway, and that's what I was looking through my photo gallery. And this time so within the span of 3 weeks, I bought a house, moved house, and started the podcast. And that's 3 huge events in my life that all took place within 3 weeks. But it felt like it felt like that was just something that happened in
You
the year.
buying a house was just weird. I felt like it never even happened.
Yeah. Like we had the money too, so we just went, got it
That
cheap.
was so random.
Yeah.
I always forget you own a property.
Yeah, got it cheap, did well. So, but yeah, I think that's another thing is that we both believe very heavily in God now.
Big time.
Like,
We're not ones that are like religious and go
We're-
to church. We're not going to press it on you.
we're
Like,
not preaching to you.
No.
But prior to this podcast, I went to a Catholic school, and I never really believed in God because he was jammed down my throat, and I was more of a, I'll make up my own mind, thank you. And you know when you just rebel because you don't want to do something because someone's telling you to do it, and I never believed in him. But again, like after now the podcast, the things, because like again, like things like Steve Harvey, he'll be like, if you've got nothing, you've at least got your prayers. So we started praying, and then the shit that started happening, like there is no other explanation aside
weird
from
shit too. Just
there
stuff.
is no way to actually explain some of the things that have happened to us aside from that God did it for us. Like it's just
been-
crazy.
I remember having a moment when I was going through my breakup, and every single thing that I had prayed for had come into fruition and had come to me. And
Yeah.
I remember thinking it might not have been instantly. It didn't come straight away, but it came
No.
to me at some point. And I remember praying for my ex to ring me. I remember praying almost every single day.
How far after the breakup was that?
This was about 3 to 4 months in, maybe
Yeah.
even closer to 5. And I didn't tell you until the other day, but I actually went up to the hill that me and my ex got engaged on. And I just sat there overlooking the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And I was just staring out to the ocean for like an hour, just not just thinking about my ex, but I was literally just looking out into the ocean, just like thinking about my life, going, what the fuck? And this was probably
Because you did a complete 180 on your life within the span of like 3 weeks. Like,
oh yeah, it was fucking nuts. And
Yeah.
like I remember praying that night, and I remember praying all the time, just going, God, please bring her back to me. And I obviously never heard from her, and I thank God every single day because like he answers your prayers and he can see way more than you can, and he knows what you want to achieve, and things can't be done with certain people and certain things, and if
Yeah.
you don't need it or it doesn't serve you a purpose, he will not give it back or give it to you.
Because I remember you were getting very frustrated as well.
Very.
Because I remember, because like you were telling me the things about how like you didn't tell me too much because you knew how I would vocalize it back to you. But like you told me that you were praying and wanting, and you were getting so frustrated at God going, why is this not happening?
I remember trying to convince everyone to come around on my ex as well. I remember
Yeah.
trying to just drop things in. I remember trying to convince you one day, and I kind of got your nod of approval. Because remember we sat in the kitchen
was
that day,
close.
and you said to me, "Why don't you
yeah.
just text her?"
Yeah, that's right.
How fucking lucky are we that we didn't?
Oh, because I could see you were broken.
I was
and I was
broken.
like, this is the only thing that's actually going to pull him out of his head.
I was broken, and I don't think we'd quit our jobs at that point too. And I don't really think it was necessarily, to be honest, I didn't miss my ex. And
You
I'm not
just
saying
missed
bad about it.
You
It was
just
the
missed
comfort.
comfort of
It was
10
the
years.
comfort. It was.
Yeah.
It wasn't even her. It was the life that I lived before because I was living. It was so uncomfortable. It was like I haven't had a fucking pay come in 2 or 3 months at that point. Like I was just recently single, and it was fucking horrible because like I didn't know what I was doing. And life just felt so uncomfortable and shit for a while. And I don't think I missed my ex. I just genuinely think that I just missed the comfortableness of life and having the job to go to every day, having a place to come home, having plans, knowing who's going to be home, what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, do you remember that was the day that I also presented you and taught you about Tony Robbins' 6 human needs?
Yeah, and I was like, I don't have any certainty in any aspect of my
Because
life.
Tony's things is every single person has these 6 needs in their life, obviously some more than others, and they dictate. Tune in tomorrow at 6 a.m. to catch the second half of this incredible interview.